One. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to our office hours call for the Mastermind group. Great to have you all here. As you know from our past call, or you may not know, we just dive right in. Just any questions, anything that you're sitting with in support of your program. So I will just open up the floor to whoever wants to start. Who's got some questions? Yes, Gary.
Well, we're going to be putting on a workshop in, where is it? Near Walnut Creek. I keep forgetting the name of the place. But it's going to be in January 12th, and we're going to be working with healing touch nurses and measuring their brainwaves, etc. But what I would like to know is, what sort of, we've got 4 people that have signed up so far. We want 16. I want some sort of email sequencing that would be useful for, keeping these people, what you do, like once a week, once every other week, twice a week, what sort of emailing would you recommend?
And email sequence one for the people who have signed up, or for people who haven't yet signed up?
For people who haven't signed up.
Signed up, yeah. And is it to just your list for now? Just your own list?
Yes, I have a list of the nurses, and we've said, that they have there's 16 nurses, and so, or people in the group. So we said we'll take the first 16 signups, but if they don't sign up by, sometime in December, then we're going to open it up for other people to sign up.
Okay, good. So you have those 2 lists, and then would you take signups all the way up till the day before, for example?
Probably.
Okay, so you got all the way up until it starts to keep,
at least the week before, we would have the class.
Okay, and how long is it, and how much is it?
Well, it's a 1-day class. It'll run about 6 hours, maybe 6 to 7 hours. We'll have a break in there, and it'll be on a Sunday, I think. And it'll be a private home.
Okay, great. And how much? How much is it?
$147.
$147. Okay, that's good. That's good. So yeah, you want for your own list, you may need to think about, and we do this all the time when we're thinking about sequences, is if you feel like the nurses list is different than your own list, you may need to actually have 2 sequences if you think the copy needs to be different. If you think it's fine and it just can be the same, that's fine. It's really up to you thinking, okay, do the nurses need some different way that I talk about this or describe it or encourage them versus just the general population, your own list. So let's just say it's 1 email sequence. I think here at the middle of November, I would say you can count on probably between January 12th, maybe about 5 or 6 total emails, all right, more. Okay. As reminders. So there may be at least 1 going out, 1 or 2, 1 in November and the rest of part of November, 1 or 2 in early December, spread out like early December, and then right before the holiday gets rolling, like on the 15th, 13th or 14th of December. And then that's it. And then here's the thing is then you're going to have 2 or 3 emails in that early January. And you're probably going to want the final one. Those 2 might be in the final week to 10 days. Does that make sense? That's where people are most been thinking about it. They've been waiting. They've been pausing. You actually want more energy toward the end.
As we get close to the end. Yeah.
Right. And so it's only 1 day. It's cheap enough that why I was asking those questions is people could sign up literally all the way until Thursday or Friday. They could just make that instant decision. So you want to make sure you're getting that. The one thing that I think will help to break the sequence up a little bit is, do you have some kind of early registration, either discount or bonus, something they get for signing up early?
Well, we have some books that were written by Anna Wise, they're available on Amazon, but we have several cases of them.
That you could give away? I mean, that's not money out of your pocket.
If you're one of the 16 that sign up, first 16 that sign up, we'll give you one of the books for free.
Have you already said that or to the people?
Yes.
Or no? Oh, you have? Okay. Well, I'm looking for something else. You could just discount it a little bit. I don't like doing that. But what I'm trying to do is between now and let's say December 14th, if you could have some kind of early registration bonus so that those emails are creating some pressure to sign up. Because otherwise, if it's just, hey, don't forget, and don't, you got to remember, if you create something special, then you can do the early reg, and then the emails after that are really just those kind of reminders to get signed up. Okay. So probably if you've already offered the book, you can't re-offer that. You either discount it by $15 or $20, or you find another bonus that you think is hot.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually just said that to the people who've signed up, and I haven't put that in our first email to everybody. I've only sent out one email.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you could use the book. Yeah. If you sign up the book, and then, maybe just book in something else simple. If you have an audio series or audio companion of some kind, or where it's a digital MP3 of a guided visualization, or anything you've got that relates to the course, you could say, if you sign up by this date, you'll get the book and the down, MP3s of these 3 guided visualizations or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
And then then the 3 emails now that lead up to that, each one of them has just a different flavor of saying, hey, don't forget, you can still sign up. There's still time, and you can get these bonuses if you sign up by this date, December 14th or whatever. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to think that through. Yeah. And get some dates. And there's one other thing that is sort of bothering me. I don't know if anybody can help me with it or not, but I made a survey on Google Forms, just to try and get a better feel for avatars and things. And I was trying to connect it to my Aweber, and the bot that connects them, called Automate, is not really clear about how to do the connection. And I'm not, I tried Aweber, and they seem to be clueless. And I don't know if anybody out there really has used that before, could give me some suggestions on what to do.
Well, I'm not sure the tech. I mean, if you really just want the results, just do a Google survey and just send the link to people. Yeah. I don't know why you have to connect it to.
Well, I'm trying to build an email list besides, get sent a sense of that. So I would just put it up on, say, our Facebook pages, which we have several, and as people would sign up and take the survey, it would automatically put their name into our Aweber.
What's the survey? Are they getting anything back from the survey? I mean, like information about.
The only thing I'm offering is that they get the results from the survey.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a great list build tool, but I hear you. Yeah, it's. Usually you want people to take a quiz where they get some information back. It's not a survey. So, yeah. If you're really wanting the results and that's most important, then don't worry about connecting it to anything. Just get the survey. If they have to put their email address, you can manually put it into your database if you're having any challenge to connect it with.
Okay, you used the Google Drive. So do you know if on Google Forms, I know they give you a place for an email. Does that email go into Google Forms?
Yeah, it just goes into it just goes into the results. That it's basically a Google sheet that's created, and then it'll show their name in different fields, and then their email is there, and you make the email a required field, and then you might have to manually put it in your database if it's not.
Okay. Yeah, I've never used it before, so someone just said it was free, so that was my criteria.
Yeah, there's so many little tech challenges and stuff. I know it can be frustrating. Cool, Gary. All right, awesome. Congrats on getting that course going. And
and if anybody out there would like to join us, you're more than welcome. If you're in the area around Walnut Creek.
Well, post it on Facebook, and then also, if you have some kind of flyer or something that you're going to create for it, send that out on Facebook and ask people to join if they want.
Yeah, we do have a flyer. By the way, how's the smoke around your place?
It's terrible. Yeah, it's really bad here. Yeah,
it's not bad up here. We've had to rescue a niece who lived in Paradise.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Fortunately, she was at work in Chico when the fire broke out, so she never went back home again. She doesn't even know if her building's still there.
Oh, man, it's heartbreaking, tragic. Well, thank you. I hope all things work out for her, Gary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, who else?
Oops.
I know we got some others. Yeah, Lori. Hello, Lori. I just sent you comments. Oh, you're still on mute. I just sent you comments back, Lori, on your email, but just about 15 minutes ago. Sorry, you're still on mute, Lori. So you've got to hit mute again, or I can't unless I can take you off if you need to. If you're having a hard time, I can do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. There you go. You're set. Oh no, you're still on mute somehow, darling. Gwen, can you speak? I want to just make sure I can hear something.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm talking.
Yeah, so Lori, I'm not sure if somehow your mic, or you might have to set to make sure you have the right mic chosen. That's the little mic icon at the bottom, and there's sometimes different options. Because on my screen, you're now off mute, and I can't hear you. All right, so we'll move on. Figure it out. You might have to either go back off and come back on, or make sure your mic settings are the way you want. Sometimes I actually have a headset that I've plugged in and plugged out. I literally have to plug this back in to make it work, or otherwise I have to restart all of Zoom. So anyway, something to try. It's weird. Sometimes the headphones get funky. All right, so who's next? Gwen, did you have something you want to work on?
Well, only what I sent you.
Yeah, but do you want to pose it as a question so everybody can hear it, and then we can kind of dive in?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so to fill everybody in, I'm doing a free book campaign with my book. And in order to get subscribers, I decided to create a free gift. And then I'm going to put a little opt-in page at the beginning of my book that will direct people to that free gift. And the free gift is a description of how I do the kind of listening to God that I'm wanting to teach in the class. And yeah, I got it back from the Fiverr, and I'm kind of pleased with the result. And my question is,
yes,
how would I need to change it to make it useful for promotional material for an online course?
Right. Yeah. Great question. Hey, do you mind if I just share the book as a screen share?
Sure.
I can do that right here. So here, I'm going to share it with everybody. So you're gonna go full screen, everyone. You can go off full screen anytime you want by exiting or just hitting the escape key. But can you guys all see that? All right. So congratulations, first of all, Gwen, not only on your book, but this little free gift, Dancing with God, 7 Steps to Enjoying Intimacy with Your Creator. I actually think this is a great setup for the course. I know you've got 7 people that are going through your pilot. Is this basically what you're going to be teaching, just so I'm clear, in that pilot?
Yes and no. I mean, it's very brief. It's a mini book, right?
Yeah, this is a mini. Yeah, this is a mini book
or something. And so I don't nearly get into all the obstacles that people are going to face and all the things that I want to teach in the background to what I say in this little book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my main question always comes back to, you have a bigger book that you have, and then this is like a mini book that kind of seeds your course in a way. But I want to make sure that it's not, is it exactly how you imagine calling the course, like calling the course Dancing with God, 7 Steps, or is this all more just for this mini book and you have something totally else for your course in mind?
Oh, I might call the course the same thing.
Okay. Okay. So that's part of the challenge. So the part of the challenge is giving an ebook or a little, mini ebook like this one that's exactly the same title and content as your course is actually problematic.
Okay.
Because it doesn't mean that you can't take some subset of it. And that's why it's so important that people really create their course first, feel really good about it, and then work backwards to various free things and landing pages and all that. So I think this is great for a course. And I'm not sure if you want to be careful, because if you're promoting this and people read it and you have some good tips in it, it's almost like, well, do I really need the course? I know it looks deeper, but I think I got the gist of it. And so you always run that challenge of, if it's too close to the course and it's 7 things that you're showing them, even though it's very, very brief, you just have that confusion that people then are like, why would I pay $300 for a course when I got the basics here? So I'm thinking that if you haven't put a full outline together, that this is your outline for the course, and just think about how you might change this or retitle this differently so that it feels similar, but titled differently than what your course is.
Okay.
Because as I looked through this, you had dancing with God. That's the first, first step is get ready for the dance. So I get that you have this whole thing as the metaphor of a dance, right? Get ready for the dance, pick your partner. It's all great and kind of has a nice flow of really dancing, both physically and metaphorically and in your mind and your heart. So the only thing with this that I think as a mini book, it's good as a mini book, but it would be helpful if each of these pieces, and this is more for your course, is that you really focused on what is the key experience or practice that I want them to have for each of these steps. So meaning you've listed things like, here are a few examples, but I think it would be helpful for your course and maybe even for this, I don't know, for the book, is what is the core practice or guided visualization or something that you want them to do at each step?
Yes, and I will be getting into that shortly.
For the course, right? Yeah.
I've done this free book campaign. Then I want to get into writing the content for the course. Yeah,
because just so I'm clear, you have another book that's longer, right? What is that called? The long book.
Called Glimpses of God's Heart, Divinely Inspired Daily Devotions.
Okay, got it. And how long is that? It's still a Kindle or an ebook, right?
No.
It's
400 and some pages.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Paper book. It's I have a digital version. I also recently have published it as an audiobook.
Okay. So here's the deal. I think what you have here is the basics, the potency of your outline for your course. And I wouldn't worry too much right at this point of trying to make this better in some way. Now take this and all the stuff you have here and really go back through my tips and things that I talk about in creating a powerful course outline so that you have clear teaching things, 3 or 4 key teaching points, and then 1 or 2 practices or exercises for each of these.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to do.
Okay. Great. And then you've already got the bigger book. You already have that as a campaign. Maybe you can think of when you finish your course outline and you feel really good about it, maybe pick one piece of something you might teach and then or think of a prerequisite that somebody might need to know and then go deeper with 3 things about a narrower topic.
Yes. And I think that actually after I have, of course, prepared the course material, but also run the pilot course, then I'm going to be in a much better position to be able to do all of that.
Right, exactly. But just so I know, do you have an outline for the pilot course right now? Or are you kind of just still thinking about it or just going to wing it?
I'm thinking about it, but I'm not able to start this course until January.
Yeah, so you got time.
So I have time to prepare for it.
Yeah. And just think through, I would probably spend a little bit more time, you ultimately want to have a course, a powerful 7-week online course beyond your pilot. So the couple of things I would encourage you is certainly use this as a start of a great outline. Really your course title is pretty good. I think Dancing with God, 7 Steps to Joy and Intimacy, that would be your subtitle. I think that's pretty awesome. And then you would need to create a headline. A deeper headline, going through all that process. And then as you get closer to launching this with your people, I would think about sending them a course outline that has a little bit more thoughtfulness around your titles of each of these sections. So step 1, getting ready for the dance. I would say that you can have a longer title. So it could be get ready for the dance and then colon the verb ing word that's more practical. So something that I've shared with some people in Fast Track, I've shared in one of my videos briefly, but a great way of titling your course modules is what I call a right brain, left brain model. And the way you do that is by having a fairly longish title, but the first part of it before the colon is for the right brain, creative, kind of interesting. What does that mean? And then the other side of the colon is for the left brain, very practical. And I get what I'm getting. So for you, get ready for the dance is the creative. No, what the hell does that mean? Am I dancing? Am I not? But then the colon might be beginning your direct connection with God. Do you see what I'm going? And it's an ing word, so something that actually tells somebody what they're potentially going to get or experience. Beginning your direct relationship with God or something like that. And then every title would be like that. Pick your partner, colon. Choosing the access to God. Something that a left brain would get. Because that you're asking them to choose whether God is as parent, father, mother, or Holy Spirit or Jesus. So you might just thinking about what you're going to teach there and then put a practical ing word on the other side of pick your partner. Does that all make sense? And then you would do that for each of these.
Yeah.
Great. And then as you complete your outline, then you want to make sure that you have a 1 or 2 sentence description. And it might be this. You will find that you are being invited to dance by God as a turn your attention. This is a little more prescriptive, more like an ebook. So when you go into your outline, you think through these new title heads, think about a blurb as you as teacher. So in this module, you will learn how to, you got to think more of like a curriculum. And then your 3 bullet points. And you'll discover how to, and then learn this, open to this, have this, or learn this model or approach. Yours is very spiritual, so it might not be as practical as other courses, but I still think you got to have, what am I getting? What am I going to really learn? What's the flow she's taking me through to really have a direct internal and full and external experience of being in relationship and conversation with God, dancing with God. You can also do a search if you want, if you haven't already, just to get some ideas to see how Neil Donald Walsh and his conversations with God, how he just, how he talked about it. He did a course, 7-week course that is about how do you have a conversation with God, your own personal conversation. So you can just do a search or go onto the evolvingwisdom.com website and you can see his different free webinar page and all that stuff. But this is great. This is a great start, Gwen. It's awesome. And I'm glad you did this as a way to kind of get you thinking more toward your course. Focus on the course, really nail that. And then you can think later about what's another little, like a mini book or something that I can use for marketing.
Okay.
Awesome. Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hello there.
Oh, now I've got 2 things going on here. That's weird.
I just have a quick question for Gwen. What app were you using to create that ebook? Do you remember?
I just did it on Word and sent it to a designer at Fiverr.
Oh, okay.
And I found an image that I wanted, and she used that image to create the title and to just beautify it for me.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I can give you the name.
Yeah, just put it in the chat for him, Gwen, and I'll get going with Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hello.
So what do you got?
So I'm working on my sales copy, and the one section that I knew was going to give me the most problem was that second section with the narrative.
Yeah.
So I just briefly saw your feedback right before the call, so I haven't really digested that yet. But I think what happened, looking at your feedback briefly, was the 3 avatars that I used are not the best avatars because they're both nurses that have some exposure to it already. So what they want is probably different than what the general public wants.
Exactly. Yep. That's a big part. That's a big part of it is really thinking through your true avatar for the course, which is probably somebody fairly new to aromatherapy, or have experienced it but don't know much. They're not a professional already, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I will take the input that you gave me and do my best to make it more towards people that don't have much exposure.
Yeah, but I'll go through that a little bit. Do you mind if I share the screen? It might be a little bit small, but the email, is that okay?
That's fine.
Great. So I'm just going to share this, and then folks, tell me if I think I can make that a little bigger. Whoop, not that. Go away. Is that enough? Can you guys see that? Nah, sort of. Okay. I don't know how. I'm starting to use Gmail more than my Mac mail, so I don't know how to make this bigger. Let me just see if I make it big. Oh, it sort of makes it bigger. All right, cool. Great. That's a little bit bigger. All right. Cool. Okay, got it. So this is the top part of your copy, Lori, with starting with the headline and then going into the main copy. We call it the authentic messaging blueprint. So I think, and I'm going to point to, because I might even pull up scroll down to my email so I can remember what I wrote. But I like it. Discover how essential oils help alleviate physical and emotional pain, promote health and wellness, so you feel energized, joyful, and vibrant. I like it. One of the things that I remember in going through this with you and talking with you was this main concept of natural, very effective, and safe. And I don't know where, I thought you had a headline that might relate to that, or I'm not sure where, but I really think that that in this alleviate physical motion, that's all great. Promote health, feel energized, joyful, and vibrant. That's all fine. But I'm wondering if there's some way, and you can absolutely do this, which is a second headline. You'll see that on more places where you maybe point toward, this is a natural therapeutic modality that is effective and safe. Because I think that's a big part of it. I don't know how to weave it into your main headline here, because that's all pretty good. The only thing that I would say is energized, joyful, and vibrant. I'm not so sure maybe you have sort of more effective and safe there, rather than it being around just energized, joyful, and vibrant.
Okay.
But so you just need a little work to do either on the headline around that, or or just simply create where your copy will have just two headlines stacked on top of each other.
Okay.
So as I looked at this, and we're not going to read it out loud, everyone, but you basically followed most of the formula of aspiration, problem. We're going to talk about the diagnosis in a moment, and then solution, transformation. It's sort of here, but I think it can be more powerful. And what I'd like to start with in my comments is, and I think Elida is familiar with this, a few others where we've done some one-on-one coaching, is what I call really finding your through line in your authentic messaging blueprint. Meaning you can figure out what is the aspiration, what's the problem, what's the diagnosis, but sometimes it's helpful to think about a theme, a thematic idea that is your through line through your whole structure. And so an example for that might be that the through line for you is that this is about natural and effective and safe healing. A healing modality or a therapeutic modality. Remember, you're trying to move aromatherapy into a bit more of a healing modality, right? Not just hey, I guys smell the lavender here. That's nice. That's why I think it's more your through line all the way through this. So
okay.
And that may not be it. You have to really sit with it, but there's something about it as a healing modality that's natural and effective.
Yes, that's what we talked about in
Exactly.
the retreat.
So that has to make it a little bit into your headline or a second headline. And then you need to be thinking about that. All the great stuff that you've got on your authentic messaging blueprint, you can still use, but it's the way then you start to shape it that has somebody feeling that through line. So that means that the aspiration really should be around healing. So the aspiration is, and you say that really well. I think your first sentence is good. You want to be healthy in your mind, body, and spirit, so you can fully experience life. Instead of treating the symptom of a pain, you have a desire to treat it the root cause. You want to use the least amount of medication. That's all great. And then you go into the second, which I noted for you in my comments. You desire to move forward in your life, to let go of the past and find that goes off the through line. So I would get rid of that whole paragraph and really start looking back at what might be another aspect of the aspiration where you could go a little deeper, or just let it be those first 2 sentences or 3 sentences. Because you don't want to move somebody back into the generalized, you'll have this and your life will be great and all relationships will be wonderful. You can't do that, because you're
what I was going for there, because that one talks more about physical.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to get an emotional thing in there to show them how it can help an emotional state, even if they're not having any physical symptoms.
Great. Then go right at that. Say that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Say it as a healing modality, not as this generalized, you'll have this, you want that in your life. Saying you also might be wanting to use natural remedies to help you in your emotional challenges. So this is where the aspiration can be more specific, guys. I know sometimes it feels like, the way I've taught it in examples, it feels really high, like it's all big picture. That's more yes and no. Some words are high, like I want to feel more joy and a sense of financial abundance. But a lot of times you can get specific with the aspiration, just like we're saying there.
Okay.
So if we stay with the through line of a healing modality that's very natural, effective, and safe. If you want all three, or just natural and effective is powerful enough. I think safe is inherent and natural. So I don't know if you need that. But if you stay with that, that means your second paragraph around the emotionality, talk about it from a therapeutic approach.
Okay.
Okay. And then as you hit those 2 things, and maybe you just go at it, not only does your body need this, but your emotional landscape. You may be looking for support and relief for your emotional landscape, right? So you can just kind of be more direct around you as experts, as practitioner yourself.
Okay.
And then the problem is pretty good. The problem is conventional medicine usually does not address the body, mind, and spirit together. The challenge here is, I think you've started to point to the problem right here that's actually more toward the diagnosis. Because what's missing in here for me is a clear sense of problem moving into diagnosis. It's just sort of fuzzy. And then you kind of get into solution, but not really, because you drop back into sort of problem. But integrative care is starting to emerge, but you may not be familiar with your options. That's actually pointing more towards solution.
Okay.
So the problem, if you want 2 sort of paragraphs, the problem, like instead of the problem is conventional medicine usually does not address the body, mind, and spirit, just look, instead of talking at a high level, look at literally what does your avatar might be struggling with, and just paint that. That's the kind of questions that people you see on pages sometimes, where it just says, you may be experiencing this, you may be having this, you may feel really listless in your life. You got to go right after the potential problems, health and physical problems, mental problems that people are facing, mental, emotional.
Okay.
Okay. And again, if you allow the through line to bubble up, you know how to then write around the problem of the through line, which is, this is a natural healing modality. So if I'm talking about healing, what are the key problems that people might be facing that that conventional medicine doesn't really do a good job at? Here's a pill. So you want to start painting those problems that aromatherapy absolutely smack down is great.
Chris, can I add something to that?
Sure.
Maybe also thinking that problem about common objections that your avatar might be thinking about in their head as they're kind of moving through that. Because like, if you're having people that are kind of newer to essential oils, and if that's your avatar, I'm not sure if that's exactly your avatar or not, but they may be asking themselves questions like, well, is this, like Chris was alluding to, the safety issue, like, is this something that, like, there's a lot of confusion, I think, around the safety, the efficacy, it's just new territory for a lot of people. So there's something juicy around just the fact that they might have some trepidation around diving into something new that they really have no clue about, that they just aren't sure about. So I think that there's some problem right there. Just the fact that there's a hurdle there for people to kind of jump over. So maybe there's something there for you too.
Yeah, and that could weave that in the problem area, or Shalva, that's a great place in the transformation statements where you can weave that in and handle objections there. You know, like this, by the end of this course, you'll learn how to apply these very, you know, age-old practices with essential oils to help you boom, boom, boom in a safe and effective way. You know, whatever the objections might be, you can weave those into those transformative statements.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah, right now the problem, you still want to paint the problem, but you want to kind of choose what you think are the best problems, that the most common problems people might have, ailments, simple ailments or chronic things that you know certain essential oils are really good at working with. And then as you look at handling some of the challenges or the way that people perceive it, as two ways, I think they perceive it as, is it really safe? But I think also people will perceive it as not effective.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two. That's why I keep saying your through line is natural healing modality that's effective and safe, because most people are going to be, essential oils, you know, that's my perspective. And that's what everybody I hear is, oh, I like essential oils, but it's just to put in my little burner when we want to have intimate time with my partner. Right? You know, I mean, that's it. And that's what you got to get over. So healing modality, healing modality, healing modality. And you're not saying you're going to heal people or change it. It's a modality for health and healing.
Right.
So then what you want to get to in the last piece here is that I'd like to see what you think is I figure you can get to the problem, but the crux here that'll be the bridge between your problems and a really great solution statements is a diagnosis. So what do you think the diagnosis is to what you're offering or teaching here? To the problem, basically to these problems that people are facing.
This is where I get confused. And I'm a nurse and I can't even figure out a diagnosis, right?
Right. Exactly. Right. That's perfect. That's a great analogy for you to really get into it, like a nurse practitioner. Like, what's really going on here?
Well, what's really going on is any kind of pain or emotional issue, anything has three components to it: emotional, physical, and spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there, and and conventional medicine only addresses one, the
Right.
body, and they see it as a biological machine, not as an interwoven part of only one part of the picture.
Yeah. So I think let's just say that where it says the problem is conventional is really the diagnosis is, and you just haven't painted the problem well. You're thinking the diagnosis is the problem, and it's really the diagnosis. So let's just put a space or reminder for you when you come out of the second, your aspiration piece. The problem is you may be struggling with this, you may be having this, you may be dealing with that. That's problem language. And then when you get to what you've written here as the problem is really the diagnosis. Because I agree with you. Some way you really want to hit it is that conventional medicine, and remember, here's the trick for this, is we don't want to bash traditional medicine. It's an integrative approach, right?
Right.
You don't want to bash it. It's awful. It's bad. It's just saying that I think the main diagnosis here is that conventional medicine wants to bucket the solution all around just our body mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the pain response and then providing a drug for the pain response that frankly may be overkill for what we need for our body. So you do want to blame more the socialization of conventional medicine as it's come, is it's really guiding us toward a pharmaceutical solution to so many of our problems, when there's a much broader way of healing, or a broader sense of how we look at our health and our healing.
Yeah.
So you got it there. I just think it might need to be, so conventional medicine usually does not address, usually and all that. It's too, I want you to have something that's just the smack between the eyes.
Okay.
So just work on that. It might be that our medical system currently is having us do that, that we've bought in as a culture into this.
Yeah, I think I get I don't want to, like you said, bash it, so I dance around it.
Yeah, I know. Because I mean, maybe it's just that it just go right after the thing, which is the knee-jerk reaction of physicians or even nurses. The knee-jerk reaction is we've got a pill for it, or this is the way it's been done, and this is the way the medical system says it's been done. And maybe that's not so much bashing. There are times when you got to reset your bone and you need anesthesia, and I
Right.
get it. But it's like the pill culture is, I think,
Mm-hmm.
what you're pointing to, because that's the
Yeah.
aromatherapy is one avenue that's really helping to replace or add to, not add to, but be additive, integrative to the pill culture.
Okay.
So let me just put it out to the group here quickly. If she went with a diagnosis, it's sort of that we've bought both in the medical industry and in our end, is we've bought into the pill culture. How does that land for you guys? Yeah, there's a lot of nodding. See, what I love is a diagnosis that's simple and direct and almost has a like a trademark to it.
And then aromatherapy was the original pharmaceuticals anyway.
Right. And that, let's just reintegrate. Then when you go into the solution, what I want you to do is if it's the pill culture, that look, and you can soften it. You can just hit it hard and then say, look, there are times, this is where you get honest. There are times when we need these medicines. Absolutely. But the problem is the pill culture is saying time and time again, it's this and this and this and this and this, and you got to use this, and there's 50 pills you got to take. That's the pill culture, versus there are appropriate uses for it. And then what about these age-old practices that are still very powerful, that are integrative, which is aromatherapy and other modalities that we're using. So when you get to your solution, I think you want to talk about integrative care. That's actually the first level of your solution. So you don't just jump right into, hey, you can do this. It's the first level, is that we're finding now in our culture more and more across the spectrum, even in medical schools, that integrative care is what's really the leading edge. And so integrative care means bringing in things like acupuncture and massage therapy and Chinese medicine, whatever, and then you end with aromatherapy.
Okay.
And then you go into and aromatherapy is a healing modality, blah, blah, blah. And what I wrote down here is, as you start talking about it, is one particular natural therapeutic model or modality. These are some language I'm trying to give you for aromatherapy. Every time you speak of aromatherapy, you speak of it as a natural therapeutic approach or model.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then effective. And then now you're ready to talk about aromatherapy. And now you're ready to go into this course. In this course, you'll learn and you'll get this and you'll have that. And here's how you'll transform.
Okay.
And for your top copy, like most people, I think the very end, or the very end of it, of that 600 plus words, is have some bullet points with the transformation statements. By the end of this course, you will know how to blah, blah, blah. You will find natural ways to resolve these ailments. So you want some bullet points there, so those don't get lost.
Okay.
And those are purely your transformation statements, or the things that the benefits that they'll get by being in the course.
Okay. Very good. Well,
yeah, excellent. Great. I'm glad you sent this. I think it was really helpful. I know for everybody here, but also I'm sure for you, I hope.
yes, very helpful. This was my stumbling block.
Great. So, and for everybody, for all of you that are still kind of working and refining your offering, be thinking about going back. If you're struggling with that main copy, that 500 to 600 words plus at the top of your page, then really go back and look at your notes from your avatar and really think about, what's my through line? What is that theme that ties it all together? That's really powerful. That's different about what I'm bringing. Like Lori is awesome because she came in saying aromatherapy is a healing modality. It's not just a nice thing with essential oils. And so a lot of other people just sell essential oils and you use it however you want to use it, and we don't care. And she's saying, well, there's a lot that we can do with aromatherapy here. And so we now need to differentiate that and say, okay, natural and effective and safe healing modality. That's her through line. And for Gwen, her through line may be that it's really about that you you absolutely can have a direct and personal connection with God. Or some variation of that as a through line. So then she goes back and says, well, what's the aspiration directly around that through line? What's the problem directly around that through line? So you're not all over the map with it. It's like, oh, I'm tight now. This is about what I'm intending to teach. So your through line can be like almost a 1-sentence summary or a 4 or 5 word summary of really the essence of your teaching. Doesn't have to be. I've seen through lines that are different because it's really about trying to make a certain point, if you will. So who else? We got some more time, about 15 minutes. Yeah, Shalva.
Two real quick questions. First was going back to, I'm not even sure who you were on when we were talking about this. So you mentioned in the modules how having a kind of more, I think it was with Gwen, a more
right brain, left brain.
Yeah, right brain, left brain. And then with the second portion, with the ing part.
Yeah.
What is there some kind of science around that, or is there, because I'll show you here what I've got. What I've done here is with that part, I've got so for module 1, the module is roots, but then I go envision your tribe, not envisioning. Should I be saying envisioning? And then 2, I've got embody, and then I've got explore. Should I say exploring? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I know it looks really attractive and kind of cool, but I'm not sure that that's the best way to have your title. Where lead, like sometimes visual things like that don't actually, they don't land in me. Just
put it right up here, like at the top.
Yeah, visuals need to really impact you emotionally. So you shouldn't be using a visual to try to get the rational part of the brain to get what you're saying.
Got it.
So I would say if you want module 1, have something that represents roots there. Little tree, thing, like a rooty thing. So you still leave that, but have it visually represented. And then in the 1 there, then put, roots, and then : envisioning your tribe.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, so that was that but so envision. So the ing was really the core of the question.
The marketing,
so there is something around that.
Yeah, I would say it's marketing best practices. I wouldn't call there's any per se science around it, but the marketing best practice is that it's an active word of what they're going to be doing that directly ties to some transformation piece or some sense of what they're going to get out of that particular module.
Okay.
So it's kind of, again, it's like holographic, is that your title and your subtitle of your course is kind of a right brain, left brain, right? It's like a cool title, and then the subtitle really needs to nail what's possible here. Your course modules are the same, basically.
Okay.
Just mini versions. They're almost like mini courses. Module 1 is a little mini course. Module 2 is a little mini course.
Okay. All right, cool. That helps.
Because even as you guys think about your teaching outline, it's also helpful as you think through your modules of what's the potential mini breakthrough coming out of each module. Like if you can nail that, like with the homework they're doing, the practice you give them, if you can say that the A student that reads all the stuff, listens to what I say, does the practice, they're going to have a mini transformation or a mini breakthrough for each module. And if you can string those together and have people talk about that, that creates even more sense of empowerment through the course, and also a sense of energy and momentum. I'm making a shift here, and then I'm making a little shift here, and that really helps to propel people, and people are more likely to finish the program if they feel that kind of propelling through. But I like all yours. I mean, I'll think it's just the graphical shift, and then the ing will make it feel more current and more present. And more like they're doing something. Like when you say envision, it actually, in my brain, it's disconnected from me, versus you're in roots, envisioning your tribe.
Right.
Now that's like, ooh, I got to do the envisioning work. Okay.
Yeah, it's a subtle but big difference.
It's a big difference. Yeah. And again, the impact on the body and the brain is different.
Okay. And then the second question I had was, we mentioned before, you and I, around affiliate pricing and structuring. Can you just talk about that and what that looks like and the different tiers of that and the percentages? And
yeah, we talked. I know Shalva sent me an email about this, and just to give you some standards, industry standards, because she was asking about this and a way to think about it. And I didn't get the chance to share this in the course. It's a good thing for me to put it in wherever I'm talking about commissions, to give, here's some of the best practices. I realized that wasn't in my documents anywhere. So traditionally, it's a price point based thing. So if you have partners and you're giving commissions to your marketing partners, typically a course that is around $197 to $297, so $200 to $300, maybe even up to $400 or beyond. Well, frankly, all the way up to $1,000, roughly. You're going to be, the standard is 40% commission. When you get over 1,000, you can start to move that downward, 30%, 20%. So if I have a $5,000 program, look, there are partners out there that still expect 40%. So just know that. There's just, people are doing different things depending on how important it is for them to get that client. They may have a $5,000 program and still give a 40% commission. It's huge, but that means their partners are super stoked. And then if they know that they have a back end where that person's going to actually have other things and it's a lifetime value, then people are willing to pay that. In Launch Academy, I had it drop down to 25% for anybody that bought Fast Track, right? So I just didn't feel like, I mean, that was still over $1,000 commission for people. So, that's pretty good. So you anywhere from that kind of 200 or 300, that price zone, all the way up to 1,000, 40%. Now here's where it shifts. When you start getting under that 197, so at 147, 97, 47 for whatever product that you're selling, that can be a 50% commission. And in some cases, even down to that $47 thing could be 75% commission. The reason for that is you want to reward your partner. They want to feel like they're not just getting pennies on it, and you're getting that customer with a low price point where there's more people likely to buy it because it's $47, and that's a lifetime value for getting that person. So partners are saying, I kind of want to be rewarded for that, and of course there's lots of doing programs back and forth for each other, but when it comes down to partners that are more concerned about commissions, they'll be more aware of this. I want you to be more aware of it, and they'll be more aware of all the dollars, some of the statistics, like what's the EPC, which is earnings per click. We can talk about that in a minute. But so that could go all the way to 75%. For you guys launching a $297 course, the standard is 40%. If you're under that and you're fair enough, you can do that 30% or 25%. Just know that some people, I don't think that people that know you and like you won't play with you, but others would be like, wow, why are you, everybody else that I've done this with has been 40%. So just be aware of that. Sometimes if you are a nonprofit and you say you're offering this course as a part of your nonprofit, you could do it for less as well. But you got to have a story. And then the tiers, just a quick thing on the tiers is this is more for your back-end technology, whether it's Entreport or Infusionsoft or Kartra, whatever, is that you can set a commission level in your back-end technology. So your primary commission level would be 40% for your course, your $297 course. Then you'll set what we call a second tier commission, and that's typically 10%, and that's for any partners who help enroll other partners. So you go out to certain people and just say, hey, if you know anybody else and you roll them, could you enroll them in the program? They'll have a link from your system where they click on that to enroll, and that automatically tags that partner that found that other partner, and then they will get a second tier commission, which means they get an additional 10% on any partners that they've enrolled on the sales that they make. And it's all tracked in your back end. So you have to have a platform that tracks this, or it's moot. What I'm saying is moot, because then it's like you manually tracking. So like in Infusionsoft, I use it. I have some partners who got me other partners, and they got some 10% commissions in addition from those partners. So that's what they mean by second tier. And so in some cases, you may be paying 50% out to that partner of the 40% and a 10% extra 10% that they get. Anything else, Shalva, that I forgot on that? Or that's
I don't think so. Do you ever go beyond those two tiers for any reason, or no?
No. Yeah, it's two. No, there's never a third tier, and I would never go beyond 10% for a second tier. Just because still that second tier persons will get the 40% already. And they're the ones that are doing the marketing. And all that other person did was find them and tell them to sign up. That's 10% finder's fee. So I don't think anybody has that as a higher, like 20%, maybe some do, but I think that's pretty standard. And then that 40%, I will say this, folks, that even these higher price points, 50% is starting to become more standard.
That's what I had heard. And that's why I was raising the question, because I was like, well, if I'm given 50% and then I've got to give a JV broker on top of that, that's like over half the program, which if the point of my program is to bring in people, I'm fine with that, but I just wanted to know what.
Yeah, it's hard. Those that playing in that game, I guarantee you all of them are playing at a level where they have multiple products. They have some pretty sophisticated funnels, and most of them are probably, that's one of the first programs in a deeper funnel.
Right.
So 50%, because we're going to convert 15% of the people into our $1,000 program coming out of this. And then that's now lifetime value of the customer, of that customer. Yeah. So that's something you guys need to think about. I think in the early stage, don't worry too much about, go with 40%, do not go with 50%. And then it's mostly going to be the relationship where there's going to be some reciprocal nature. That's way more important for people that are not playing the game at the highest level. It's like, I got this book coming out. Will you blast for that? Oh, great. I'll blast for your course. It's that. And nobody's really thinking about money until you start getting to a point where you want partners that have bigger lists and you want to stretch into that. Then having the right commission level will be important. I'm not going off 40% anytime soon myself. I may do that as I start to look to create a product, a lower end product. I might have that lower end product, not my Launch Academy, lower end product be, on a 50% commission or something like that.
Thanks.
Yep. Wow. 1 minute. Any 1 minute question?
I just wanted to say something for 1 minute.
Oh, hang on. Alida had one quick one, Gary.
Yeah, I do. I have a question. We're looking at signing up with Kartra, and they talk about they don't give as much bandwidth as many of the other places, like Teachable has unlimited bandwidth. So I'm wondering, how do you store a course online? I mean, when we tell people that it's accessible to them forever, where does it get stored?
Well, you might want to talk with Shalva offline too on this and what she's learned, because she's on Kartra too. I don't know much about Kartra. It sounds like they have a limited number of gigabytes for what you load in, documents and certainly videos. Kajabi had a limit per video, but they didn't necessarily have a limit at the pro version of how much you could have in there. If there is a limit, one thing you can do is making sure that your videos are actually housed in Vimeo or on YouTube. And then typically that's not housed in Kartra, because they're probably allowing you to upload your video directly into Kartra. I wouldn't do that. And then you're saving all that space. And then at some point you may need to upgrade. You need to look at I'm sure there's upgrades, and you just decide, okay, the next level upgrades $297, but I get unlimited space, for my courses. You're probably not there yet until you have a second course and another thing and all that.
Yeah, and I know you've got discounts for Access Ally, and are you going to work with Kartra to offer?
I am. I've signed up as an affiliate. I've been communicating with them, and I'm exploring. I'm kind of waiting to hear back from like Shalva and you, Alida. I really want my own student. I want people to tell me, how's this going? You're kind of new to it. So I'll be keeping track with you guys, and I'm being cautious not to just leap in. But I am really wanting a kind of a one-stop shop and just say sign up for 90 days for 6 months. And I'm just, it's just such frustrating for me to go through a lot of the teaching on all the platforms. It's just confusing for everybody. So if you're using it, just keep me informed how it's going and all that. And I'm going to be getting a demo and doing some things with them as well before I launch next year.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be a good solution. Shalva, you're still okay with it, even though it's given you some fits?
Yeah, like I kind of said, the only thing I've noticed so far is they've got some issues with mobile. It's kind of glitchy with their mobile right now. But that's really the only thing I've really known. I mean, their email is not the most elaborate, if you've been on other email platforms. But again, if you're looking for a one-stop shop, you kind of have to know that's what you're getting yourself into, So you just kind of have to make a decision if you're going to be okay with a little Kartra logo on the bottom of your email or not. So there's just things like that maybe they'll change down the road. And, I guess I'm just willing to play with them because it's so simple to be able to just go to one place and just do it and not focus on that, because I want to just launch my course and do what I'm here to do and not get caught up in all the technology. So for me, it's just easier to say, this is what I'm choosing and be done with it.
Yeah, that's my logic. That's saying is, even if you did your first launch with it,
Exactly.
then decide, does it work? Should I do these other two? And I already had to pay $197. And then now I'm going to go to, Entreport and Teachable, and that's it. So
Right.
I'm with you, Shalva. I think to get your freaking course launched, it is templated, and you
It's
built
less than $100 a month.
Yeah.
With affiliates, and you can put your video, it's everything you need, And so for people that are aren't, needing anything more, you just do it and get it launched.
And that's how I feel sort of about Kajabi, which it has some limitations, but those two, then I don't have to necessarily worry about you guys connecting programs together and things like that. Even if the email is not as good, who cares? They know to create sequences, and both of them have sequences that you can set up and autoresponder emails. So basically it's got everything you need. And so keep me in the loop, Elida, with that, and just, see how it's going for you as well too.
Could you write in the name of that in the chat so I can look it up and see what that's all about?
Yeah, Kartra right there. It's Kartra. And then, and then Kajabi if you want.
But Kajabi's more money.
Yeah, it is. Well, partly because at their base for it's not necessarily, they have a $100 version that doesn't freaking have the affiliate piece to it,
Right.
because there's a lot of people that want to sell stuff that don't need to do it with affiliates. So they're feeling like, oh, let's pull that out as a carrot. One thing you could do, and I'm not sure I want to tie my horse to Kajabi, but that you could call them or text and say, I really want to be the basic version. Is there any way I can get the affiliate thing included? They may do some negotiation with you. I don't know. And why I say that is because I was at a Brendan Bouchard event, and of course he's the primary investor and the driver of it. But people that were there when they were signing up, they were able to negotiate what they wanted when they were signing up for the basic version. Oh, but I need the affiliate thing. And I heard them saying, oh, well, yeah, we can include that for you. Like, what? But that's Brendan, right? That's Brendan Bouchard, So anyway, that you could try that. I don't know where it'll get you, but you could try that. Otherwise, you're right. You need the $300 version of Kajabi to make it all work. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Great questions today. Really, awesome. I really appreciate what you guys brought, and we'll see you on the 27th. Definitely don't miss that. I got a little surprise for that call, and we'll hopefully all talk then.
I just want to give an endorsement before we sign off here.
Sure. Yeah.
I endorse Lori's brain. We measured her.
Yes.
We measured her on a healing touch, and she definitely had the energy there, the deltas coming out as we see in most healers. So she's there.
Yay! You passed the test, Lori. That's
I have a brain.
You have a very creative, healing brain.
Yeah, we appreciate Lori for setting up that nice group of people. It was wonderful the other day.
Great.
You're welcome.
So glad you guys are collaborating. This is what warms my heart. Just keep talking to each other and collaborating and supporting each other. All right, everyone. Be well.
See you
Have a
next
great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.